Morning, friends. Dale here, 3 generations. Welcome. I have to talk above all these lambs. Anyhow, it's lambing season. Today's video is what I'm referring to as my 2026 baby doll lamb slash Easter lamb. And you will eventually learn why it's called, I'm calling it also an Easter lamb. So anyhow, I'm going to tell you the story about one of the mamas who had been in labor for about almost 24 hours, and she kept going into the barn, and yeah, baby, you can't find your mama, huh? Where's your mama? Where's your mama, little one? Yeah, she's there. I know she is. So this mama was big. And she wasn't getting around very fast. She was very slow. And she was in the barn. She kept going into the barn. And a lot of my ewes know that I have a procedure. If I can do it, I like to get them in a large corral area kind of beside all the lambing pens. So that way it's not hard once they lamb to get them in the smaller area of a pen, where they get all the food, all the grain, all the hay, and all the water that they want and need. And so this mama on whatever day it was that it was born, when she gave birth, this mama that day she'd been towards the back of the barn. Hey there, Lammy. Hey, you want to come and see my friends? You want to come see my friends? Yeah, hey there, you're a little sweetheart. This is a little ewe lamb, one of quads. There's 4 of them that look very similar, one ram and 3 ewes. Yeah, I thought you were the one that was going to go to church with me on Sunday, but anyhow, on Easter Sunday. Yeah, baby. Anyhow, sorry about the interruption there. Cuteness at its best. So she was in the corral area. I came out and she was going through she would kind of go in circles, and she'd paw the ground, making a space to lay down. And she kept doing that. And finally, nothing was happening. She wasn't having really big contractions that I could tell. But she had been breathing heavy for like this whole almost 24 hours. And so, well, hey, there's Odin too. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hey there. Now get down. I know you're jealous. You're jealous of my YouTube friends. I know, but lay down there, buddy. Anyhow, yeah, down, Odin. Down. I say down. I don't want to have to stand up, but I may have to. All right, buddy. I'll have to hold you down here. We're going to do a wrestling match. All right. So I went in the house for a little while to give her a chance to push on this baby. And Odin, please have respect for my friends. And so I came back out, and she was down, trying to push. Now she's really tired, even though she hasn't actually pushed any lambs out. She's quite tired. And I see just the tips of 2 hooves, which is a good sign. But when she stood up, then they disappeared. And she went in circles and up and down several times. She went back down. I decided I got to go in after this lamb. She is probably wearing out, and I don't know if she can push it out. Wearing out and pushing it out. All right. So anyhow, I sanitized up my hands and my arms up to the elbows, and went in and got a hold of those front feet, because she was coming front first. Usually the feet come first, and then the nose is right behind it. And I pulled and pulled and pulled, and man, her head. Hi there. You're gonna come visit me too? Okay. So her head was. I realized her head was probably pretty big for that birthing canal, and that's why she was tired, plus that was a hard push. So I worked and worked. I got both hands in there actually to get that head to where it started coming out. and then she pulled out fairly easy. I say she, it was actually a ram lamb, and it was pretty lethargic and nothing was happening, and I'm like, the embryonic sac was heavy, the fluids were heavy, and I'm working, and finally a breath came, and the life was at, we had a life and a little sweet little lamb. It was a little lethargic. It wasn't like full of vim and vigor like some of the lambs come out, but it still was very viable. So I gave her a little time. She was working on that one. Eventually she was up and down a little bit again, and she just nothing was happening. So I decided it's time to go in again. I went in and found what I didn't know to be, but it was a beautiful brown lamb. The embryonic sac was gone already. I pulled it out and it was dead. It was stillborn. So I gave it a little bit more time. I went in again, another brown, beautiful lamb. These are both ewe lambs, the brown ones. And that one there was also stillborn. And I decided I better check again, because these Finns, they're known to have, 3, 4, 5, 6 lambs at a time. I've only had them up to 5 lambs. And so I ended up finding another one up backwards. In other words, the butt end was first, and those are really hard for me. I guess if you're a vet or something, you can turn them around or something. I don't know what they do. I don't know on a sheep actually. But eventually, after a lot of struggles, I got that one out. This was a white one, like her brother was a white ram lamb. She was a white ewe, and but she looked dead. I thought, oh no, I've got another stillborn. So I ended up then pulling the embryonic sac away, and I'm working on it, and eventually, hey there, come here. Oops, I guess you're not going to. Okay, I had she finally took a half breath, but she was not in great shape. So she took a half a breath, and she was very, very weak. She just wasn't doing real well. She would breathe sporadically. To me, it looked like this is a case where this is one that's going to die. It's not going to make it, which happens sometimes. Worked with it. It was too weak to even get up. I used to dry a towel to help get the embryonic fluids off, even though Mama's doing a great job of helping. She's licking at it for all she's worth. And I eventually take it inside. I mix up some of the colostrum and start feeding it. And Kendra and I then spent a day. It stayed in the house. It became a bottle feed baby, because that first 24 hours it couldn't even get up, and like you would put it up on its legs in the little tote it was living in the house, and it just would wobble all over the place. It just didn't have a sense of balance, and I really felt like, with all my experience, this one was gonna die on me. And ended up day 2, it could stand up. Hey there, little one, come here. You're a beautiful brown with white face. You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Oh, you're being left out, are you? Okay, well, that's the way it goes some days. All right, little lammy, you're a cutie. This is a ram lamb, part of a set of triplets. Yeah, all right. So where was I at in my story? Who knows? Anyhow, it was in the house. We bought the second day. We started giving it replacer milk, and it started gaining a little bit of strength. Finally, sometime in later day 2, it could kind of get up, but it was really hard. Each day I would take it out for visiting rights with Mama and brother, and Mama was accepting it, but it wasn't try. It couldn't even try to nurse because it couldn't even get up. It couldn't get up. In the house, it would get up, but out there it was just too confusing and too hard. It was just it was. Well, what I think is that it's a little bit brain dead. I think it actually quit getting oxygen at some point in that process of it birthing, and but anyhow, so it became my baby doll lamb for 2026. I often will have one each year I call baby doll that ends up getting milk from a bottle, and usually I try to keep them out, not keep them in the house any longer than I have to. As soon as they can be out with mama, they're out with mama, and then they come running to me. They get used to being bottle fed. They get a little bit maybe from mama sometimes. So anyhow, day 3 was much better. I think it was day 4 was Easter, and I was on slate for a greeting at church, and I decided I was going to take my baby doll in on Easter and let that baby, let people enjoy that baby. And I was a door opener. I opened the doors. My wife Kendra was handing out the bulletins inside, and they had a drumming up the sun service before church, and so as people came from that service of the drumming of the sun, drumming up the sun, I was there with that lamb, and oh my goodness, people absolutely loved it. Kids loved it. They want to pet it. They want to, they want to know about this lamb. And I bet you I had a line of 40, 50 people. I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long. I couldn't really see the end of the line, but most people stayed in the line to visit baby doll, the Easter lamb. So we come home. I had a bottle with me. I fed it once. This incredible young gal came and took care of that lamb different times when I wanted to go use the restroom or get more coffee, or she actually fed it the last feeding I had while I was out away from home. But this lamb was incredible out in public. I thought I might only be there for a little while and have to take it home, but it did incredible. Get it home, I put it in the tote to go make some milk, and I heard a thump thump, kerthump, and it had jumped over the edge of the tote. So I was like, you know what? It's time for this thing to go out and stay with mama. It can get around now. It'll be able to get up and nurse from mama. So I took it out, and to make that story shorter, mama totally rejected it. Wouldn't have nothing to do with it. It butted it, it kicked it away. So I'm like, okay, now what? And so I'd had a ewe that about 5 o'clock in the morning, she had triplets. And 2 of the 3 were stillborns. Again, really weird. I've maybe had 1 stillborn lamb in all my lambing. And this year it was really weird to have those. But anyhow, I put that ewe in with this mama who only had 1 lamb that gave birth to 3. And she was kind of okay with it until she kept smelling it and smelling hers, and she'd go back and forth, and eventually she decided it wasn't her lamb. And when that lamb wanted to try to nurse, she started not kicking, she was butting it away with her head. And so I'm like, okay, her 2 lambs that had died 10, 12 hours earlier are laying on a post inside the lambing area up on top of a post. So I took that lamb out. I grabbed one of those lambs and started rubbing it all over that lamb, and took it back in, and she did the smell test again, smelling back and forth. And she finally decided it was her lamb. She adopted that lamb, which is hard to do with sheep. They don't really want to adopt, but you can fool them. And we fooled her, and now she's adopted in. She's still in a lambing pen because I want to make sure she's will make it out here. Her brother and her mom are very ready to get back out to pasture. So probably, maybe tomorrow. Well, hey there. Hi, Shannon. Hi there, girl. How you doing? This is Shannon. She was the first lamb that I bought off from another farmer. I had bought her mother, but they wouldn't let this one go because Shannon was their first lamb of color, and the women of the house were bottle feeding it. I forget, it was at least a triplet or a quad, and it needed additional supplemental milk, so they bottle fed it. But I got to buy her later when they were selling the farm. So she is just a sweetheart most of the time. Very demanding, aren't you? You very demanding, Mama? Yep, you are. All right, well, I think I've told too much of the story, more than what you probably wanted to know. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and have a blessed day, folks. Bye.